Hello, and welcome to Reading with Rachel. My name is Rachel Tolson, and I write under the name R.L. Tolson. I'm the author of multiple books for young people, including The First Magnificent Summer, Something Maybe Magnificent, The Colors of the Rain, The Woods, and my latest book, The Unforgettable Leta Lightning Laurel. Today, I'm going to introduce you to Leta's story and read you an excerpt from the book. The Unforgettable Leta Lightning Laurel stars 13-year-old Leta Laurel, who is the star of her track team. She runs the 400-meter dash. She's a big sister who often has to play second mom to her sister Amelia, and she's a problem solver. So when she finds out her mom's financial struggles are worse than she'd thought, she hatches a plan she's sure will bring her dad home. She'll win the district championship in the 400-meter dash. Her dad will remember he has daughters who need his support, because a win will make her unforgettable. But a rival shows up, threatening her title and her emerging beliefs about the feminist sisterhood. And when an injury sidelines her, Leta wonders how she'll possibly prove to her dad and the world that she's unforgettable. Leta's story includes themes of feminism, sisterhood, self-acceptance, resilience, and the importance of puberty education in female sports. It's a Junior Library Guild Gold Standard selection, and School Library Journal, which gave it a starred review, called The Unforgettable Leta Lightning Laurel, quote, a resonant tale of a tween struggling to adapt to change, a must-buy for all middle grade collections. In the underwritten genre that is girl sports, Tolson has crafted a novel that can be handed to anyone. Here's an excerpt from the beginning of The Unforgettable Leta Lightning Laurel. 1. Thursday. I don't look like a runner. I look like a rag doll trying to launch myself toward the finish line on rubbery legs that weren't made for this. But my legs were made for this, so I keep going. The wind blasts against me, picking up for the home stretch. This is about the time my thighs and calves have melted into wobbly blocks of jello, and my arms have numbed completely, my form long gone. Of course there's a wind when I can't feel my feet. I just want the misery over. I chance a look at the sky. Dark clouds glare at me. Is that a tail? My heart rams into my throat. I hate tornadoes. I've never experienced one, and I don't live in a place that sees them often or, like, ever. But that doesn't stop my brain from whispering, I think that is a tail. You better run for your life. Which makes everything harder. Running for your life is too much pressure. And I'm actually running toward the possible tail, or the imaginary one, however you want to see it, since it's straight ahead, and so is the finish line and the end of my torture. I can hear Coach Mack yelling from here. The wind's not against her. It snatches her words, twirls them across the football field, and delivers them right to my ears. Pick it up, Leta, or I'll add another. She'll have to make me crawl another. My legs won't make it through one more 400. I try to pick it up, I really do. But when I cross the finish line and bend over gasping, just what Coach Mack tells us not to do, doesn't let enough air get to your lungs, ladies, she says. And Coach Mack calls out my time. I wonder the same thing she asks. What's wrong with your feet today, Leta? What's wrong with my feet? I'll tell you what's wrong with my feet. Track shoes are expensive, which means Mom can't buy a new pair every time mine wear out, which means I run miles and miles in my track shoes, which means all the miles someone else ran in these track shoes before me, because they're not brand new, they're secondhand. That's the way we have to do things in my family. Along with my miles, add up to slow. Coach Mack has me running the 400-meter dash. It's not quite long enough to wear regular running shoes. It's more of a long-distance sprint, which calls for the special metal spike shoes that are supposed to help a runner's toes grip the track so they can run super fast. Some of us don't run super fast, at least not every day. I'd like to remind Coach Mack of that right now when she's looking at me like I'm some alien who stole Leta Laurel's body and is now pretending she can run. Sometimes we're tired. Sometimes our feet don't work. Sometimes we have terrible shoes. I'm practicing today in my track spikes because our next meet is Saturday. Coach Mac likes us to spend our last practice before our meets in the shoes we'll wear for our race. The spikes on track shoes should be sharp. Mine are so dull, you might mistake them for one of those thimbles Mom wears when she's sewing the hem of my pants, which have to be let out every month or so. Let me see those shoes, Coach Mac says. I wonder what she'd do if I pretended she wasn't talking to me. But since she'd probably make me run another 400, and my legs are already fried, I stop and lift up a foot. Give me the shoe, I mean, Coach Mac says, rolling her eyes. I almost say, but it's really stinky. But I decide she gets what she deserves. I pull it off and hand it to her. She wrinkles her nose before turning it over. She clicks her tongue and shakes her head. Well, now I see why my star runner can't seem to do more than lumber like a deranged giraffe. She doesn't mean that, does she? A couple of girls giggle. They're no friends of mine. They're girls who can afford the kind of shoes that should make them faster if they had any kind of running talent. That's mean. I shouldn't say it. But at least the words stayed in my thoughts instead of hurtling out my mouth. It's the wind, I mumble. I've never liked running against the wind. Why can't our school build an indoor track? I know why. It's because all the athletics money goes to football. Surprise, surprise. It's not fair, but it's also not unusual. You pick any school in Texas, and it's the same football is king story. Good spikes would help against the wind. I know this. I stare at the ground. Get yourself some new spikes before this weekend's meet, Coach Mac says. Doesn't she know that's easier said than done? Track spikes aren't in the budget. Unless Dad magically decides this week is the week he'll start sending Mom some money from his out-of-town job that doesn't seem to pay much. But since he hasn't done that in 3 years, I think it's probably unlikely. I do believe in miracles, just not that kind. Yes, ma'am, I say anyway, and my chest pinches up tight, which is what happens any time I think about Dad and the silence and what it might mean. Coach Mac hands back the shoe, but not before wrinkling her nose again. And try some baking soda inside. She waves a hand in front of her nose like she's trying to get rid of something foul. A dead skunk in the middle of the road when it's 99 degrees out and the air conditioner is blasting on high so the dead smell gets caught in the car and you'll never get it out. The fumes from the boys' bathroom at school, which doesn't have a true working door and gifts everyone who passes with an unexpected, but should be expected, whiff. One of Amelia's spam farts when we're trapped in a car with 2 windows that don't roll down. I almost tell Coach Mac the smell was there before I ever wore the shoes in the first place, but that would give away a secret I don't want to tell. I'm just glad she didn't notice the giant layer of superglue I applied to the flapping sole this morning, which does not seem to work as well as it advertised. I sigh and wriggle my foot back into the shoe, feeling a little like one of Cinderella's ugly stepsisters. How's a girl supposed to run in shoes that don't fit? Shoes that flap? Shoes that can't grip any better than the seal on one of those off-brand sandwich bags Mom has to buy because they're cheaper and we're on a tight budget. Thanks for listening to this excerpt from the Unforgettable Leta Lightning Laurel. I'm available for school and library visits, as well as virtual sessions with students or book clubs. On my website, I have lots of book-related resources for teachers and librarians, including reading guides, writing prompt packages, and short curriculum pieces you can use in the classroom, as well as kid-friendly videos to share with your students that provide a behind-the-scenes look at my books. Remember, you're already unforgettable, and I'll see you next time.